Few people know this. A single man, living over 1,000 years ago, wrote a medical book so powerful that it was taught in Europe for more than 600 years. His name was Ibn Sina, and without him, modern medicine would not exist as we know it. Today, hospitals, diagnosis, clinical trials, and medical ethics shape our lives. Yet history rarely tells us where these ideas truly began. The name Ibn Sina was slowly replaced, translated, and renamed, until the world forgot the Muslim scholar who laid medicine's foundations. This is his story.
I am Abu al-Hussein ibn Abdallah ibn Sina, though across the world, I am remembered as Avicenna. I was born in the year 980, in the region of Bukhara, in the lands of Persia, what you now call Uzbekistan. From the earliest days of my youth, I was restless with curiosity. I mastered the Quran at the age of 10, and before long I immersed myself in mathematics, astronomy, philosophy, and logic. By the time others my age were still learning the basics of reading and writing, I had already begun to ask questions about the deepest mysteries of the universe. But it was medicine that called to me most strongly, not merely as a science of remedies, but as an art of healing, of easing human suffering, of restoring life where hope seemed lost. By the age of 16, I had begun to practice as a physician. I soon discovered that healing was not only about herbs and potions, but about understanding the body as a whole, its balance, its harmony, its hidden design. Medicine, to me, was not just healing the body, it was understanding life itself. I studied anatomy, symptoms, causes, and treatments with precision. I believed disease followed natural laws, not superstition. I documented contagious diseases, the importance of quarantine, clinical testing of drugs, the connection between psychology and physical health. Centuries before modern hospitals, I described organized wards, diagnosis through observation, and ethical responsibility toward patients. When I was just 18, fate placed me at the bedside of the Emir of Bukhara. My treatments restored him, and in gratitude he granted me access to the royal library. Within those walls I encountered the works of Hippocrates, Galen, Aristotle, and the wisdom of India and the Arab world. Yet I did not merely preserve their teachings, I tested them, questioned them, refined them, and wove them into something greater. Over my lifetime, I wrote more than 200 works and treatises. I explored philosophy and logic, astronomy and mathematics, poetry and chemistry. But the work for which I am most remembered is my great medical encyclopedia, Al-Qanun fi al-Tibb, the Canon of Medicine. This was no ordinary book. It was a vast, organized treasury of medical knowledge, carefully arranged into 5 great volumes. The first explained the general principles of medicine, anatomy, physiology, the elements, and the humors that govern the body. The second catalogued hundreds of simple drugs and herbs, describing their properties and uses. The third dealt with diseases of individual organs, the heart, the lungs, the liver, the eyes, and more. The fourth explained illnesses that affected the whole body, fevers, infections, and poisons. And the fifth was a great formulary of compound medicines, with recipes and methods for preparing treatments. My greatest work was Al-Qanun fi al-Tibb. The Canon of Medicine. It became the medical authority across the Islamic world. Europe, universities like Bologna and Paris for over 600 years. Doctors learned from my words. No medical book in history influenced humanity longer. I insisted that medicine must be grounded in reason and careful observation. A physician, I taught, must study the patient's pulse, urine, and symptoms before making a judgment. I described how diseases could spread through water and soil, centuries before the science of germs was known. I gave clear accounts of meningitis, diabetes, and contagious diseases. I classified over 760 drugs, and I showed that emotions and the state of the mind could directly affect the health of the body. It was this dedication to order, to clarity, and to method that gave the Canon of Medicine such power. For nearly 600 years, my work was taught in the universities of both East and West, from Bukhara to Baghdad, from Spain to Italy, from France to the universities of Padua and Montpellier. It was translated into Latin, Hebrew, and many other tongues, guiding countless generations of physicians. In Europe, it was considered the supreme medical authority well into the 17th century. But my journey did not end with medicine. I was also a philosopher of existence, a seeker of truth. I wrote of the stars and their motions, of mathematics and music, of logic and metaphysics. I sought to understand not only the body, but the soul and the universe itself. Some called me the Prince of Physicians. Others called me Sheikh al-Arayas, the Master of Masters. But in truth, I was only a man who believed that reason and observation are the lamps by which knowledge must be sought. And why legacy does not lie in fame, but in the lives saved, the knowledge preserved, and the bridges built between worlds of thought. Whenever a physician diagnoses a disease, whenever science seeks harmony between theory and practice, you are hearing an echo of my canon. When I died in 1037, my works lived on. Translated, renamed, and absorbed into Europe's awakening, often without credit. Yet today, when a doctor diagnoses, observes, tests, and treats ethically, they unknowingly follow the path I laid. I am not just a physician. I am the architect of medicine. History may forget names, but truth always survives. I am Ibn Sina, Avicenna, the father of modern medicine. And though centuries have passed, my voice still speaks wherever healing, wisdom, and science walk hand in hand.